What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I am so excited about today's episode because, on the background in the house, we actually have the electrician here. He's setting up our grow lights. So in a couple days, we're going to actually be moving indoors to do all indoor gardening now. Pretty much everything outdoors is starting to wind down. There's a few more things we still have to do that I'm going to bring you all along for, but when it comes to, actual projects to bring you all along for, they're getting far and few between. So we're going to be doing indoor gardening and we're taking it up a notch. We're growing bigger, going home indoors. It's gonna be a ton of fun. So the electrician's working on that, so that's great. But another reason why I'm really excited is because it's fall, and fall brings leaves, and they are so underappreciated. Now, we do not have a use for all the leaves on our property, so we do send a lot of them away to our local composting facility that is a great organization that promotes composting and then sells it back to the public at a very discounted rate. We've actually used them numerous times to fill our cottage garden up with compost and our raised beds up with compost, and it's a super great company that we love working with. So I don't mind sending some off to them because we just don't have the space here. But one way that we do utilize our leaves is, besides composting them in the remaining space that we have, we also use them as leaf mulch. Now, leaf mulch is such an underappreciated resource that so many of you can be using in your garden. And I want to go through just some of the benefits that they have, and I also want to show you how we create it really simply. Now, there's a lot of ways to make leaf mulch, but the one thing that I don't want to see you doing is using whole leaves. Whole leaves are not a good leaf mulch. The reason why is because they smush down really flat, and what happens is they become anaerobic and they don't break down very fast, and they can get slimy, and what can happen is they hold on to too much moisture, and that can cause mold, mildews, and it can also spread some disease to your plants that you don't want. So what we do is we just want to increase the surface area. We want to break those leaves up so that they can become more fluffier and make a much better mulch for you. So the trick that we use is we have just a super inexpensive bagger lawnmower. Obviously, we mow our lawn with it in the summer, but in the fall, instead of spending time raking up leaves endlessly, what we'll do is we just leave a small patch here where the leaves are pretty sparse. We don't have any trees in this area, but they've blown in here. Instead of spending all this time raking them, I just run the lawnmower over them and actually mulch them up with the lawnmower much quicker, and we get to use them. The other thing that you can do is you can buy a really inexpensive, it's an attachment that actually fits on a trash can. It's made, I think, by Black & Decker. It's a pretty inexpensive model that hooks up. It's electric, so I don't know if it's great or not. I've never used it, but I have seen it. And for small jobs, it would definitely get the job done, I would imagine. And you can throw the leaves in there, mulch it up, but you just want to break it up. You can also take a weed whacker. This is definitely a little bit more redneck method, but I've used this in the past as well, and it works great, so I'm not bashing it. You just take a weed whacker, throw all of your leaf scraps into a trash can, and turn on the weed whacker, and then just weed whip them into oblivion. That also works. But this just really helps to increase that surface area so that it's fluffier. It incorporates more oxygen. They will break down much faster, but they'll break down more evenly, and they will instead actually do much better at mulching than just throwing them on flat. So let's get to mowing, and then I'll show you some of the benefits. All right. So obviously we did get some grass clippings in here, but check this out. Look at this. Look at the quality of that. That right there. I mean, you're talking I can't even tell you, 100 times smaller than its original form. I mean, it's just remarkable. Now, obviously there are larger chunks in there. That's definitely normal, but you've dramatically decreased the size of a lot of them, including adding some grass clippings in, which is a great source of nitrogen. So we filled this up here, and now we're going to be able to mulch some more plants. So here we've got one of our current plants that we just planted, and I want to give it a little bit of insulation throughout the winter. Leaf mulch does a great job of that. Leaf mulch will add a couple degrees of frost protection. It will just help to better insulate the plant and give it a better chance at surviving winter. The next thing that leaf mulch does really well is when it does break down, it actually invites in beneficial mycorrhiza, which are so important. Mycorrhiza fungi are so important to have in association with plant roots. It helps them to mine minerals better and helps the plant to get through drought and stressful situations, stressful growing conditions a whole lot better than plants without mycorrhiza. So the mycorrhiza fungi will colonize the leaf mold, or the leaf mulch, and create leaf mold. This is commonly seen as one of the best forms of compost, is a fungally inoculated one. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this leaf mulch here just around the perimeter of these plants, making sure to obviously be mindful of the base of the plant. You don't want to mulch the trunk. You do this with trees, shrubs, doesn't really matter. You don't mulch the trunk. You just mulch the root system, because if you mulch right around the trunk, it actually invites things like mice in. So that's one thing you don't do. But then the third thing that leaf mulch does really well is it helps retain that moisture. Now, moisture is something that often is so overlooked in fall and early spring, but it is very beneficial to bringing the plant out of dormancy. If you have a good mulch, that snow, once it melts, will actually stay here much closer to the base rather than running off or evaporating. So this will help to, in early season, help to bring your plants out of dormancy, get them growing much quicker, which means fruiting much sooner for you. So that's the third thing that they do really well. And the fourth thing that they do is they provide very good nutrients. Leaves are a wonderful source of all of your nutrients. It's a very gentle fertilizer that will slowly release as the leaves begin to break down. They will release nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, as well as trace minerals. Now, trace minerals are something that is lacking in so much of our garden soil, but because the trees tap down super deep into the soil that is not really being used to grow vegetables on, it's 10, 15, even 20 feet down, you're getting minerals coming up that have been long lost from our current modern day topsoil layer, and those trees are bringing that up in the form of minerals and then being stored in the leaves, which is then dropped to the ground, and then you can apply that to your plants. So that micronutrient supplement is going to be awesome for your plants. They're really going to appreciate that as it breaks down. And also the final thing, and the fifth reason why I love leaf mulch, is because it invites so much life to come in, beneficial insects. You're going to get worms that are going to come in just even within the first year that are going to start breaking this down so much quicker. You're going to get so many beneficial insects that you would not find in like a grass clipping compost, because it's so rich in nitrogen that a lot of your worms and things don't really come into that very much. Worms really like a rich carbon source rather than a rich nitrogen source, which is why worms are more commonly found in like decaying leaf matter around forests than you do in your in your modern day well-manicured lawn. So just some things to consider. I mean, you will find worms in your lawn for sure, but you'll find a lot more of them in a carbon-rich environment, because that's really what they enjoy eating. So those are your 5 reasons why you should be using leaf mulch, and it's just a super quick way to produce leaf mulch. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. As always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. It's getting cold, so I've got to finish this up before I freeze. So I'll catch you guys in the next episode.